Most gardeners have a love-hate relationship with winter. While it provides needed rest as a natural break to the growing season, it tends to linger and take its toll. It is the wiping of the slate for a new year, which is at times desired by the perennial tropical gardener. However, it is only for a few weeks. After the holidays, it tends to grow old, especially when the produce starts to disappear, and you will only taste fresh garden veggies in a few months. This deprivation causes expectation for spring. And while spring will always come in a roar of growth, much of what we see bursting up with life is just beautiful, but not edible, except for grape leaves. If you are not familiar with Mediterranean food, this may come as a surprise for you. It is a perfect crop for spring, where there can be a hunger gap, while other veggies grow and mature. I'm about to show you one way to use these leaves as food. Growing grapes in Maryland can be tricky. It is generally too humid, causing grapes to develop fungal diseases like black rot further on in the season. So early on, before grapes develop and become susceptible to black rot, I harvest the young leaves. Because of black rot, I usually end up getting a very poor harvest, losing much of the fruit. Cooking with the leaves has been a way I found to make this grapevine more useful. And while I like it purely because it looks nice, it's always best to make a beautiful thing useful. The best time to harvest and eat grape leaves is when they are the most tender in spring. As soon as they have grown large enough to be used, but before they grow leathery and tough and essentially inedible. I'm making dolmas, a traditional Middle Eastern dish. To make them, you will need a good bunch of new grape leaves, about 30 or so. Dolmas are nothing more than rice-stuffed grape leaves with a few variations. I'm doing a simple version that is flavored with fresh spring herbs. It's a great appetizer or snack. My grapevine is a Concord variety. It doesn't have the most tender leaves, and it ends up being a bit chewy compared to the store-bought grape leaves on a can. But I feel it has good flavor. You can experiment with different varieties and see which one you like the best. Only use leaves from unsprayed vines, so that's why it's a good idea to use it from vines you've grown yourself. Trust me, you do not want to eat pesticides. To flavor the dolmas, I'm using spring herbs I have growing in the garden. They hit their spring growth spurt at the same time the grapes mature. That makes it convenient and natural to make this recipe in mid to late spring. I'm harvesting a handful of sweet marjoram as well as Italian oregano. Thyme is the other herb I feel works wonderfully in this recipe. I cut the tender new growth that happens to be flowering. Onion flavor is essential for this. I'm using chive flowers to boost this flavor. If you haven't tried cooking with chive flowers, you must. Unfortunately, they're highly seasonal and absolutely not sold in stores. You must grow it yourself. Mint is also traditionally used in dolmas. You can add that if you have some growing. I didn't have any in my garden. In order to make the grape leaves pliable to form them into rolls, you will need to quickly boil them. I put the leaves stacked up into a small pan and fill it up with water so that the leaves are fully submerged. Add a teaspoon or so of salt and mix it in. You want the leaves to get into contact with the salty water. Turn on the heat and wait for it to start boiling. You will let it boil for only a couple of minutes, only enough to make the leaves soft. Gather your fresh herbs and using a sharp knife, chop them up as finely as you can. You can also use a food processor to chop them up if you prefer. Since I'm using herbs that may have a bit tougher stems, I've got to make sure everything is well minced. I like to chop them by hand because it is easier to clean than a food processor, and as you cut the herbs, it releases a great aroma that will perfume your entire house. People will know you are cooking something delicious. Reserve the herbs. Finely chop an onion. I'm using a smaller onion that I happen to grow myself. Because it is super fresh, it has incredible flavor. A little goes a long way. If you want to make more dolmas, use a bigger onion. As soon as your grape leaves have boiled for a couple of minutes, turn them off and reserve them. They should be tender enough to be easily rolled. Drain and let them cool. You can finish the rice filling while you wait for them to cool. Pour a bit of olive oil into a stainless steel skillet. Let it warm up slightly. Put the chopped onions and herbs in it and stir. Stir using a spatula. Add salt to taste. It should be enough to season the onion, as well as the rice that will be added shortly. If you want to add a bit more oil, you can, but this is optional. Dolmas will taste better with a bit more oil, but if you want to make this recipe leaner and healthier, you can keep it low in oil. You can also add pine nuts or raisins if you want to. Add about half a cup of rice to the pan and stir it around until the rice is translucent. You do not want to cook it completely now. My nephew Nathan decided to help me form the rolls. It is a perfect activity to get kids in the kitchen. It is very hands-on and helps them improve their coordination. Now, I feel dolmas are more of an adult dish since the taste and texture is not what kids are used to. But by getting them involved, they may be more prone to trying it themselves. Add a spoon of rice filling to the center of a leaf. Close the sides up and roll it from the bottom to the top. Don't roll it too tightly because the rice will expand inside the roll and will burst the leaves. Don't overfill it either. A little goes a long way. Before you put the rolls into the pan, put a few leaves in the bottom of the pan to ensure that the rolls don't stick or burn to the pan. It is essential that you use a heavy bottom pan for this. Pack the rolls into the pan tightly. Cover them with leaves on top to secure them in place during cooking. Put 2 ceramic plates on top to act as weights. It is best if they fit exactly into the pan. The dolmas should be cooked in acidulated water, so add the juice of a lemon to 2 cups of water. Add a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon or so of olive oil. Mix it well and pour the mixture into the pan. Let it cook under low heat for about 20 to 30 minutes until the rice is done. Watch it so that it doesn't burn. Carefully remove the plates using tongs. They will be too hot to handle. Carefully peel the top grape leaves and let the dolmas cool off. You can eat them warm, but they are also enjoyed cold. The grape leaves impart a really nice flavor to the rice. I personally find it to be delicious, but it could be an acquired taste to some. It is great to eat as a snack, and due to its seasonal character, it's the type of food that I crave most of the rest of the year and relish it when the time comes. Join me next time for another garden adventure. Remember to send your questions and comments to seedofchoice@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Suburban Homestead.